Today I'm going to be alone in the interior of the far north of Scandinavia, in the region in Sweden known as Lapland. I'm gonna be going around fishing in an inflatable float raft, looking for big pike. We're also gonna be setting out the camp and having awesome food all around. And towards the end of the video, we're gonna be searching for an absolutely crazy place with awesome waterfalls, but also extremely scary rope bridges. Let's begin. Okay, we didn't catch a perch. Actually a pretty decently sized pike here. We'll probably just release it because we don't really enjoy eating pike that much. A pretty nice looking pike. Okay, so I've just been dropped off here with my inflatable raft. Kind of looks like a lake, but it's not really a lake. This is like a body of water which is right on the side, connected to a massive river which flows all the way from the Scandis mountains alongside the Norwegian-Swedish border all the way down to the Baltic Sea. And we're a bit, as you can tell, out in the middle of nowhere. Before doing anything else, I'm gonna find an area for us to set up land. Well, you know, I'm thinking I'm gonna leave the boat there for a little sec. I'm gonna go and explore the area alongside the river here. Oh, here's some type of poop. I'm not sure what that is. Man, one thing I really like about being up here in the far north is just there's so many beautiful birch trees everywhere. You don't really see any other type of leaf tree. All other types of trees are some type of pine or spruce. Well, we're already starting to see the river, but look what I found here on the ground, just laying here. This looks like an old piece of axe, but it's split in half. Would you look at that? Oh man, that's an abandoned axe. Oh man, it's starting to fall off of its handle as well, and it's super rusty. I mean, it does extra poison damage now at least. Maybe I shouldn't, you know, go around my face so much with it. A pretty cool find. By the way, it's spring and we're super close to the Arctic Circle right now. When you think of the Arctic, you think of like Greenland and stuff, but this is actually very close to the Arctic. And that's thanks to the Gulf Stream, huge amount of wind which comes from the Caribbean and southern United States that flows towards Europe, which heats up the entire continent. That's the reason why Scandinavia doesn't quite look like Greenland. Well guys, I was just about to tell you about the really nice beach which I saw here last week. I was driving past here with a motorboat last week. I'm gonna go to that beautiful beach, set up and have some great food. But turns out today, the beach doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. There is no more beach. Every single spring in this river occurs something called the spring flood. Basically, as the name suggests, the river floods in spring. That's because of all the ice and snow that has been building up during winter. Ton of ice up in the mountains towards the Norwegian-Swedish borders, in that area where the rivers start. When spring arrives and all the snow and ice melts, all of that water goes straight into the river, and that causes the river to flood. This year, this isn't even too bad. Like, it has just begun. It's gonna get worse. Man, I really hope the beach is left. I really wanted to set up and cook up some food. Or if the entire beach has been swallowed by the spring flood. I really hope it hasn't. No, no. No way, the beach is gone here as well. No, what am I gonna do? I just gotta continue walking, I guess. Be out here and it was nice, now it's gone. Ah man, these water levels. Oh, no way, no way. I see it around the corner. Do you see it? I don't know if the camera sees it. I knew it, there was a beach left and I'm gonna go and find it now. Awesome. Oh man, now I just noticed. You can see, here is the river. Here on the exact other side is the kind of like inner lake body of water type thing, which is connected to the river in the opening. That's how I got in with the inflatable raft. And I just noticed it goes this far deep in. I could have just taken the boat and got the entire way in here instead of going all the way there. Now I had to walk all the way. That was actually kind of stupid. Look what we have found. I can't believe it. I literally can't believe it. The beach actually exists here. Welcome to La Playa. All my friends, they're gonna be heading to Spain. They're gonna be heading to Italy. They're gonna be heading to Greece. You know, that type of places. Cyprus. And this is my La Playa. Yes, I mean, yeah, look at the water. Look how fresh and clean the water is looking. In other parts of the year, this beach tends to be way bigger. I mean, you can just see here. Do you see where kind of the roots of the trees are going? That is the water levels when they are really high. They haven't even finished. Spring floods differ year to year. Some years they're insane. Some years they're pretty calm. And this year they're actually gonna be kind of calm. There just wasn't that much ice and snow up in the mountains this year, but it might be next year, might be in 2 years, but in some years it gets really extreme, like in the 1930s. Every 100 years or so, this river absolutely floods out of control. It flooded more than it tends to do, and it just swept with it several houses, went downstream. You'll notice there's not a lot of houses alongside the shoreline of the river. But I noticed something here, right as I put down my backpack. Look at these footsteps. I'm not absolutely sure, but I don't think it's a wolf. This makes me think that this is probably just the tracks of a fox or something. Man, I am absolutely starving right now. For the last 2 weeks, I've been cutting some weight because I was feeling a bit insecure. I was feeling like my double chin was getting a bit out of hand. So I made kind of a deal with myself that I'm only allowed to have cheat days and eat whatever I want when I'm recording a video. So today is obviously one of those days and I'm super excited. And I brought some pretty weird snacks actually. The food in this video is gonna get quite goofy, I'm not gonna lie. It's called fläskesvål, which is like basically it's a dried pig skin basically. And it's 60% protein and it's pretty high in calories. Yeah, whoa, I didn't know it was that bad. 558 calories, which is pretty bad if you're trying to lose weight. But this is actually unironically a really good survival food because it's so high in calories and it's 63% protein and it tastes pretty good. And it's 90 grams of protein. That's insane. Don't tell your friends about pig swole. Dude, it's a life hack. It's literally a cheat code to eat these things when going out camping. You have heard this in this video. Don't tell anyone now. This is our secret. You will never tell anyone where you found it. This is the most ultimate camping food ever. Fun fact, if you didn't know, candy cane is a Swedish invention. You're having a candy cane thinking, yummy, yummy, it's so good. Remember to thank Sweden because we created the candy cane. Basically, Gränna is a very famous place which have always produced polkagrisar, which is the Swedish name for candy cane. So Gränna candy cane is like classic. Like I think candy cane is probably like 100 years old or something. I think I've had this in a really long time, but I love candy cane. This one was really good. I don't know what I expected. Obviously it's good. This is unironically a pretty good candy if you're trying to cut weight, because it's one of these which you suck on, so it takes a really long time to consume this entire thing. I'm just a man with a candy cane far up in the north of Sweden. Other people, they're laying on the beach in Spain. Ah, it's such a good time. I'm just living the life. Hot countries to go to La Playa. I'm already on La Playa, I'm having a great time. Oh yeah, this candy cane is hitting. The reason why you can see all the roots is because the water sometimes goes up super high and sweeps out all of the sand and other stuff are going around the tree, which has left it exposed. I actually found something insane in the sand. Look at this. Look what it says. It says subscribe. Wow, that's kind of weird. Why would the sand tell you to subscribe? My detective skills are telling me that most likely was the fox who wrote that. So I got 2 apples right here. You're probably wondering, what are you gonna do with 2 apples? You take 2 apples, you boil them, and then you roll them around in cinnamon and sugar. And it's amazing. You remove actually the skin of the apple, because that makes it so the cinnamon and the sugar can stick onto the apple easier. Man, I could really go for a swim today if I brought the right clothes with me. The water it's a bit cold, but it's so hot outside, it's kind of comfortable. Nice, I can use the water to kind of fix my hair up. Chocolate flavored protein shake to chug while waiting. So it's gonna taste pretty good, I hope. Oh, well, let's go up in the woods and look for some sticks which we can put into the apples once they're done boiled. Instantly, as I'm walking into the woods, I found this outside of my camps. You see these cages? Actually, it might not be that. I'm not sure what this is. Actually, this could be a fence, but it's so weird. It's like you walk around in the woods in this area, you'll find all sorts of abandoned stuff. This area has been very depopulated the past decades. I think the population here peaked in the 70s or something, and ever since the population has been dropping here very rapidly, because all the young people which are being born, they're moving out, they're moving, you know, south. So basically many areas in the far north in this region called Lapland in Sweden, they have half the population which they once were, and a lot of the people which do still live in these areas tends to be older people as well. Okay, this is a pretty okay looking stick. I can modify it with my knife. Hey, look at this little stick. I can shove into the apple and then I can eat it while holding the apple. Pretty smart, huh? You know, there's not a lot of mosquitoes when you get annoyed by simply one mosquito. That kind of signals that you haven't seen them in quite some time. Oh man, I'm so not looking forward to meeting you and all of your friends. Oh man, he has another one. Got him. Look at him. Look. Got him. One mosquito down. Thousands probably left to go. Oh, look what's boiling. Finally, that's pretty nice. And by the way, if you're one of those people who are kind of like germ phobic and you're very like, oh, I don't like germs and stuff, and you think, oh no, this is dirty, you found these sticks in the woods, that's so disgusting, I can't believe you're gonna eat that, ew. Simple hack which is gonna eliminate all bacteria. Oh man, well, that was not a mosquito. What in the world is that, man? That was scary. That was on my neck. Crazy. That looks like something straight out of Australia. You can just take the sticks and shove them into the boiling water and have them there for a couple seconds. So, and kaboom! There are no germs on these things anymore. And not that I care anyway. I really hope this isn't gonna look like an ad or something. Coca-Cola, apparently, but it's made in Sweden and it's organic. And it uses cane sugar, Coca-Cola, but they have somehow made it healthy. Dude, it's taking so long to boil my apples that I'm like eating up all my other food, which I was planning to eat alongside with apples. Stupid apples, it takes so long to make you. Let's try it out. Whoa. I mean, yeah. This is a bit of a special taste. It doesn't quite taste like Coke. All drinks which you guys know about, Coke is probably the thing which is the most similar. In Sweden we have a thing called julmust, which is basically a drink we drink during Christmas. It's very popular. But you can kind of test if they're done or not whenever how easy you can stick something into it. If it goes smooth as butter into it, it's done. So I'm gonna stick this knife in. Ooh, that's so easy. Stick this knife in. So I'm gonna take out one of the apples. Here we go. And here I have a bunch of cinnamon and sugar that I brought way too little, but it's gonna work, it's gonna work. And then I just take it and roll around. Oh man, look at all of that sugar and cinnamon around this apple. This is looking good. And then I'm just gonna put the stick into it like that, and boom, there you go. Haha, look at that thing. And I got a nice juicy apple with cinnamon and sugar on it. Ooh, it was better than I expected. I didn't actually think it would be that good. I haven't had this in a while. When I was a kid, I would eat this a lot. This is able to maintain a lot of heat, actually. The apple has a lot of water inside of it. And water, as you may know, maintains heat really well. That is way better than I remember it to be. Whoa, this was really good. I'm so proud of how well made this actually was. Oh no, I dropped it. Oh, to be fair, there wasn't much left, but I dropped it and that was kind of sad. I regret that. Oh, it's covered in sand now. Oh, look at that. I'm surprised the second one turned out as well. This is another beautiful one. Yeah, I feel succeeded. Once I've downed these two and cleaned up behind me, I'm thinking we're gonna head back. Goodbye, sticks. You were to good use to me. Goodbye. Oh man, my worst enemy is facing me, doing dishes. If a genie showed up to you and gave you two decisions, no mosquitoes no more for your entire life, or you'll never have to do the dishes again, what do you choose? Well, it's a beautiful day up in the far north and it's windy right now, which usually in summer I actually tend to like. I like when it's windy because otherwise it's too hot and the mosquitoes are out. Mosquitoes don't like wind. But right now in spring it doesn't really matter, and that's one really nice thing about fishing in spring, which is that the mosquitoes haven't really woken up yet, which means you can be out even when it's not windy. I found some old rusty chain just attached to the ground. I wonder what that would have been at one point. In the 60s it was still kind of hard past the river, and a very old method which people have used here was that they would use these floaters. You would walk onto it and then they would take you over the river, and they would actually use horses on the other side of the river, pulling the raft from the other side of the river across. My dad was actually able to experience one of the last times in this part of the river where they pulled people across it. No one uses that strategy anymore. Oh look, spring is really starting to kick in now. The birch is starting to get leaves. I just found an old abandoned toilet in the middle of the woods. What is this? I have a feeling that they just dumped this in the middle of the woods. Why would you need to build a toilet in the woods? Everything is a toilet. I went back to look up the rusty axe. I'm just so curious about this thing to see how sharp it actually is. It is not long at all because it's half an axe, so I can't really swing with it like I normally would, so I'm probably gonna use it like this. Oh man, it is so dull. I'm gonna give it one more try, then I'm giving up. It's good for cutting all of these small branches, but it's like... Yes! I was able to cut it off, but that was a lot of effort. I feel like with a really sharp axe, you would probably get that in one shot or two. Well, I guess I've had enough food and yapping around the beach. I think it's time to go and head out into this body of water. I want to say goodbye to Mr. Axe. Just imagine what adventures this little rusty bro has went through in his life. All the wood he has been chopping, and now it all comes to an end. I'm gonna give him a nice end off with one final chop. Oh! Whoa, it kind of sunk down into it. That was so satisfying. Whoa! One more time. This is a bigger one. Ooh, wait a minute. Just as I'm leaving Aximus, there's a random bench here in the woods. What in the world? Why is there a random bench? You know, I have a feeling that a lot of people throughout the years have just been going out into these woods and just dumping stuff they don't really know what to do with. Look what I found. It's actually crazy. It's like every single day I'm out driving with the car, I see a moose. The most scary animal you're gonna discover just like running around in the woods in Sweden. It's not really a bear or a wolf. Like wolves aren't even that scary, let's get real. Bears, yeah, pretty scary. There's not that many bears in Sweden. Some of you might be saying, oh, mooses aren't scary. They just eat like the top parts of trees and stuff. They actually do. You don't realize how big and scary a moose is until you actually meet one in the forest. A funny story from my life when I was a kid. It's sports class or PE class or whatever it's called. We're gonna run like 5 to 10 kilometers. I'm running, and then I'm coming around a corner, and on the other side of the corner there is a massive male moose with his wife and a kid, and I'm standing there like paralyzed, like, oh, what do I do? They're standing in the middle of the way where I'm supposed to run to get to the finish line, and then I ran through the woods, a special path which you weren't actually supposed to use in order to make it to the finish line. So technically I cheated by just running straight through the woods because it was blocked off by the moose. So basically, end of story, I ran into a moose family while at school, and I skipped cardio simultaneously by cheating in a running race. It was awesome. finally, we're heading back out now. Such a nice weather to use this boat on. Boats like this are really bad when it gets windy and the waves are powerful. Oh man, this is not that good. What? I need to get out more. This area is just so, I can see the bottom so clearly, and it's just filled with grass. These trees, they look so weird. They're growing in the middle of the water. At least that's what it looks like. Normally there would be land, but because of the high water levels right now in this area, I'm gonna anchor down right next to these weird looking trees. That's a sign that this is a good spot. But man, the wind is crazy. Why is it the moment that I go out fishing, the wind gets rough? The wind was awesome the entire day. I'm very curious if I can stand here alongside it. No, no, don't blow away, don't blow away. Can I stand here? No, no. Ah. That was awful. I regret it. I regret it. That was a stupid idea. I was so close. I was literally, if the water was just like a little bit lower, I was able to stand. And a wave came as I put my foot in, and now I have some water inside of my boot, and it sucks and it's cold. Do you remember when I was on the beach and I said, why would anyone want to be in Spain or in Greece or in Cyprus when they could be here? I'm starting to get it now. I'm starting to get it. 1 second the weather is awesome and I'm sweating like crazy. The other second the wind gets insane and now it's even raining. This far up north is that you can never trust the weather app. The weather app always is wrong up here. It said it was not gonna rain today. Well, it's not going too well, so I'm gonna try out this wobbly bobbly jig bait I got. So I put on the raincoat. I don't think it's gonna rain more, but it might be. But it's also just like the raincoat adds a lot of wind resistance. And that's the main type of cold which is coming. I don't even think it's that cold in the air right now. Whew. If I was a fish, I would look at that bait and think, that looks delicious. I would eat that. Bon appetito. Trust me, fish. Why won't you go to my lovely restaurant? Did you know that this jig bait is indeed al dente? Isn't a good time of year to fish just as the water levels are high, but I thought because they're not that high yet it wouldn't really matter, but it might have mattered. Now the real Viking approved workout begins. 100 sets of rows. I mean, I need to burn calories and warm up somehow. I got an idea. Because I'm going so slow with a boat, I might as well do some, in Swedish we call it trolla. It's when you throw out the fishing line and then you just go with your boat and simultaneously you're basically fishing as your boat is traveling. Though it's a little bit hard doing it alone. Let's throw out the line and then I'm gonna keep on rowing. Just gonna put it in between my legs like that. Man, that is totally not super uncomfortable. Holding the fishing rod squeezed in between my legs while simultaneously rowing. Let's just say I have done many things more comfortable than this. I just figured out a way to multitask, burning calories and gaining calories simultaneously because I'm so hungry and starving. This candy cane simultaneously as I'm rowing. This is so brilliant. I am so smart, guys. I am so smart, literally. Oh no, there's like sand and stuff stuck to the candy cane from earlier when I was at the beach. I don't actually care. Let's just pretend like sand is like nutritious or something. I have now realized that candy cane is an absolute essential survival item. You cannot survive in the deep far north of Scandinavia, in the Arctic, without candy cane. Why else do you think Santa Claus produces candy cane? Ever thought about that, huh? Think about where Santa Claus lives. He lives in the coldest place imaginable. He's like an absolute survivalist. So of course he's aware of the insane survival capabilities. So candy cane is what made me an absolute machine at rowing. Candy cane was invented by the Vikings in the 1100s. Trust me, by the way, this is real history. I'm not making this up, by the way. Vikings invented candy cane in order to be able to cross all the long distances in the water. This area that I'm currently rowing through is actually a connection between an island and the mainland. And because of the high water levels, this thing has become an island. When the water levels are normal, you can actually walk over to the island, but it has been split off now. Whoa! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, that's not good. My Oreos broke off. I need to fix it. It's not supposed to break like that. As you can tell, opting for a different strategy to drive my boat forward. I'm calling this one the Italian Pizza Man. Romantic tour guide in a boat from Venice technique. I mean, they do tend to call Stockholm the Venice of the North. It's actually easier to row it from this direction, kind of like you row a kayak. You see what I see right there? It's Axel the Axe. Is that what I named him? I'm not sure. I made good use of this, man. That technique I had there was actually pretty good at the end. Oh, feels good to be on land again. You can barely see, but it says made in Sweden. Most of our iron comes up from the far north, where I'm currently at, so it wouldn't be surprising if the material which made this from this same region, which I'm currently in right now. It's gonna be fine. Throw this on, boom. So for dinner, I thought I'm gonna go for the theme with the fact that we're up in the far north. We're in Lapland right now. This is an absolute local classic, which is basically made out of all the rest products, which you don't really use in the normal things you cook with meat and that type of stuff. And this is basically a thing which comes out of old tradition, where people back in the day would obviously save a lot more of the food which they ate, because a lot of people were starving, a lot of people were poor, and the word Norrland just translates over to northern land. Pölsa, an absolute local classic. The only issue I have, which I noticed just now, is that, whoa, how am I gonna open this thing? Oh, it worked! Oh man, I can't believe it! I can't believe it! The old axe did it! It opened it! Well, I'm definitely gonna tell about the story in the future when I opened a can with an axe. That's pretty badass if you ask me. Come on, leave! Oh, it's so hard to get out. Oh, I'm so thirsty. Ironically, I've been so wet from the rain, but I'm still... It's not really supposed to have this consistency. Oh man, this is way too hot. I have a strategy though. Look at this. I'm just gonna dip it in the water here on the side, hold it down like this, and it's gonna cool it down. True goodbye to the old boy axe. Thank you for opening the Norrlands Pölsa for me. I don't know what I would have done without this axe. It might not have been effective for splitting wood, but at least it could open a can. The candy cane, it's still here. I still haven't sucked through it. It is so much harder to row back than rowing here. Using the Venetian style was way easier here, because I was rowing towards the same direction as the wind was going. Now I'm doing the opposite. So much harder. This is like a nightmare. Rowing like someone from Venice, I mean, it worked for some time, but because the wind is so strong right now, I'm basically standing on the same location. If not, I'm losing progress when doing that strategy. So I figured out a new strategy which allows my boat to come further out to a place where it is deeper, where the boat which is gonna rescue me can show up and actually enter. Strategy which I invented is called taking up the anchor, throwing out the anchor, and then pulling myself towards the anchor. So I take the anchor, throw it, and then I just pull myself towards the anchor. It's such a goofy strategy, but it works. Throw it again. Yep. And then I just continue doing that. Also, it's a pretty fun and satisfying thing. It's pretty cool. Whoop. Throwing out my lasso. Oh, I feel like a western cowboy throwing out my lasso going yeehaw! The desert and stuff. Oh, yeehaw! Whoa, that's really satisfying to just throw it out like that. Going forward, good. Whoop, then pull. Pull, pull, pull. Let's go. Oh. Oh. It's working. Well, I think I made it far out now that the motorboat can pick me up. So I'm just gonna stand there and wait. I can hear it in the background. Do you hear it? I hear the motor is approaching. So he's right around the corner. Oh man, it's raining. And I'm just stuck here waiting for a rescue. Not only did my oar break, but I also caught no fish. That wasn't even worth it. And now I'm getting soaked because it's raining. At least I had a rain jacket. That's something. So because the fishing went awful today, we're gonna go head out and look at some really nice, massive streams and waterfalls. The interesting thing about this fall is that even though it looks really impressive right now, during times of year when the water levels are really low, there won't even be any water in this. Continue further on to this very epic place. Could you guess what time it's currently? It's kind of ironic the fact that it's called a fall, because you really don't want to fall into this thing. Apparently when the water is low enough, you can even walk over that little gap. But the water levels, they're not super high right now, but they're high enough that you can't walk over here. There's the main part where it's the most intense. See, the sun is going down right now and it's so late. One thing I noticed now, which is really good about trees, is how soundproof they are. And inside of this little island, in the middle of this like kind of archipelago, there's like an archipelago basically in the middle of this river. Here I can actually talk without the massive sound of the river. This river at one point, for a really long period of time, used to be a big spot for lumber transportation. Basically, people back in the day would use these massive rivers to transport lumber downstream towards the ocean. Sweden obviously is a massive exporter of timber and all types of wood products, and have been for a really long time. It's a long line of stones which have artificially been placed here. I'm not quite sure at what date they built this structure, but the reason why they built it is because this side of the river, which is the most intense, this is where they would have at one point been transporting all of the massive logs. Well, basically you see this little island we're on, there's the line of rocks. If you go on to the other side of the river, you will notice, you just look upon it, there's a way smaller stream here, but you see how many rocks there are? you see all of these rocks. If you want to transport a bunch of logs in a river, obviously you don't want a bunch of rocks in the way, which will destroy the timber when it's transporting, and they will get stuck, and in the way it won't be effective. By blocking off this part of the river, by building a dam, they would basically stop water from coming here and giving more water to the other side where the logs would be going. And then they built this long stone structure, essentially splitting the river in half. And this is just to make sure that all logs would end up coming from that side of the river and not this side, because otherwise they have a risk of getting stuck in all the rocks and getting destroyed. They want to have a clean and fast, easy transportation of the logs. In 1973, the timber industry in this river ended. From now on to today, been using trucks because it's way safer and way more effective. Anyway, enough history yapping. Right now, we're heading up to that massive hanging bridge. It looks a little bit suspicious, not gonna lie. I have to trust whoever built that bridge that it won't fail on me. This is the biggest fall of the entire trip. Oh man, this bridge is scary. Yo, don't look down, don't look down, I look down. Man, that's so scary. Yeah, I'm definitely holding on to the side. I have a lot of trust in whoever built this bridge. It's kind of scary, not gonna lie. But it's also very beautiful and very awesome. Look at this. Man, it's so beautiful here. That's nice. Every single Saturday I post another one of these videos, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything, and like the video because that helps me out.